When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
It's not every day you make the New York Times in Montreal, but this is one of those stories. I don't think anyone could have seen this coming. I love the headline, which simply says, "Looking for rotisserie chicken heaven? It's in Montreal." Now, if you've grown up in this city, you know we have been blessed, apparently, with some wonderful yet simple chicken restaurants, right? If you think back, I mean, I lived in the West End, so for me, it was either Chalet Barbecue or Côte Saint Luc Barbecue for so many years. That tradition continues, though it's now been elevated to a bit of a higher status and to get noticed in the New York Times. Well, look out. Thought we'd talk to the author. Brett Anderson is the food reporter for the New York Times. He's actually based in New Orleans. He is on the line. Mr. Anderson, thanks for your time this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, who turned you on to the chicken situation here? How did you find out about it?
Well, actually, the woman who became my wife. We took a trip to Montreal when we first started dating some 15 years ago, and she took me to Romados, the Portuguese rotisserie, on that trip where we got the chicken and also the butter tarts. And ever since, I've made going to get rotisserie chicken sort of part of my ritual whenever I go to Montreal. And which I do as much as I can. It's one of my favorite cities.
Oh, that's nice to hear. You also, and I love the way, you framed it, because Montreal already known for things like bagels and, of course, smoked meat and poutine, and now rotisserie chicken apparently joins the list, which is kind of nice to see.
I thought it ought to be on that list, the way I sort of see the way that chicken is part of the culture in Quebec. And then, I reached out to Marc-Olivier Frappier, who opened Rotisserie La Lune, to talk on the phone about this, and, discovered that, he was inspired by this deep tradition that you have in Quebec.
He's going to join us, by the way, in just a sec, so we'll talk to him about that, because La Lune, which, of course, turns into one of the best restaurants in the city, serving, of all things, barbecue chicken, or rotisserie chicken, if you will. I would ask, by the way, with respect to, what's in America versus what we have here, is there nothing comparable in the U.S. to this?
Well, we have rotisserie chicken, of course. I mean, it's become almost inescapable in some ways. It's for sale often in grocery stores, sort of the big discount chain stores, and has been embraced as something that's just a very affordable way to get dinner on the table at night. When you bring it home. We don't really have it in the same context as you see it in Montreal, in these restaurants that have been around for a really long time that specialize in it. And certainly we don't have it the way that it's presented at La Lune.
Yeah. It's not a matter of going out to a U.S. restaurant and ordering, chicken necessarily, not rotisserie chicken anyway, like it is here. So I understand the difference, right? It's not like going to Costco and buying one of their chickens and taking it.
Yeah, there's nothing romantic about that.
Fair enough. It's always nice to hear the perspective from someone from, another country, in your case, from someone writing for the New York Times. The food scene in Montreal, though, has gotten, I think, pretty good reviews over the years. What did you find when you most recently came here? Still considered one of the better foodie cities anywhere?
Well, I can certainly consider it to be that. And, one of the things that drew my attention for this particular story is, the people behind La Lune also had been behind some restaurants that I've loved over the years in Montreal. Right. Particular Vin Papillon, where Marco was a chef earlier in his career and the founder, and then also Mon Lapin, which is the people that, it's the same owners as La Lune. And those are some of my, I quite literally take trips to Montreal specifically to eat in those places.
Wow.
And I'm also a big fan of L'Express. But I eat all around Montreal, and like I say, I really do try to get there. Well, I live in New Orleans, but I'm originally from the north. I'm from Minnesota, and so I actually am attracted somewhat to the winter.
Well, we should thank
might be a little unusual.
Yeah, we should thank your wife for turning you on to Montreal. Then I guess thank you to your wife. Yeah. We appreciate that.
I will extend those thanks, sir.
Appreciate the time. Thank you so much. I want to get to Marc-Olivier Frappier, yes, the owner of Rôtisserie La Lune, chef, formerly, of course, over at Vin Papillon, I believe at Joe Beef for some time, where I probably first met him. Marco, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, we're good. We're having quite a day over here.
I bet you are. First of all, you must have known, because I know he talked to you about this, but how crazy to be in the New York Times.
It was amazing. I mean, when Brett reached out to write that article, rotisserie chicken was my first job, a passion of mine. It was my utmost pleasure, and I was very proud to take him around and, show him all my favorite places. So we had a few places in mind, but I took him to Chalet Barbecue, Ramados, La Lune, spoke to him about the history of Saint-Hubert and Laurier Barbecue that's now closed. So we went everywhere. It was pretty fun.
Must have been an awful lot of fun. How did you even, you start off, you're working as a chef, you own a couple of restaurants now. Was the chicken thing just part of growing up in Montreal? Because that's what we all did. We go to Chalet or Côte Saint-Luc or whatever it was. That's where you got the inspiration from?
Well, exactly. I'm from Saint-Hyacinthe on the South Shore. So we had Sipère Barbecue. And Saint-Hubert also, that was
Sure.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
their reference still is very present in Quebec. That was my first job. So my first job was rôtisseur in Saint-Hubert in Saint-Hyacinthe. And I've always thought that one day I would open my own rotisserie. I've opened Mon Lapin, Vin Papillon as the chef at Joe Beef for a number of years, but the rotisserie restaurant, not the rotisserie chicken, but the rotisserie restaurant, definitely is a very Quebec, very Montreal thing. You realize it when you travel. There's not many places in the world that have restaurants that are based around rotisserie chicken where you can go eat and have the coleslaw and the bun and the fries, and that's the Quebec, that's the Montreal trattoria, that's the real Montreal bistro family restaurant is the rotisserie restaurant.
By the way, did you ever think that, you open a rotisserie chicken restaurant and suddenly, you're in the Michelin Guide, you get that kind of recognition, all you're doing is serving chicken. I say all you're doing because you look at some of the restaurants around town, some of the better known restaurants that, serve what we would call very fancy food that have been noticed for many, many years. And suddenly here's a rotisserie chicken showing up on a best of list.
That's incredible. Honestly, that's not why we opened it, obviously. But we do take a lot of pride in our ingredients, and the service is a big part of the restaurant. We wanted to take rotisserie chicken, rotisserie restaurant. We don't do takeout. We focus on our dining room. We wanted to build a beautiful dining room, focus on service, and have it around chicken. So we work with the same ingredients that we would at Mon Lapin. That's what we serve at the rotisserie. So there's a level of care that goes into Rotisserie La Lune, that the same level that goes into Mon Lapin.
Yeah, great food is great food is great food. And obviously you've had a lot of celebrity visits, I would think, as well.
Really? Like who?
Have you not?
I mean, we've had a lot of people from Quebec. We're in Rosemont, so a lot of the artist community are from here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have.
When I said celebrities, I noticed Harley Finkelstein, who's the CEO of Shopify, Canadian company, says this is his favorite restaurant, not in the city, but possibly, I think he said on the planet.
Oh my God! Yeah, Harley's been really
pretty nice.
Yeah, pretty nice to us about that. Yeah. It's fun to have him around. It's fun to also have him come to the restaurant and talk with him, talk business with him. What a pleasure to have him in Montreal. But
now, we have to wrap up. Has Justin and Katie been there yet?
We're waiting for them. We save a table for them every night by the window. So, whatever they want, it's saved, réservé.
I think his brother's on the show tomorrow with Andrew Carter, so we'll let them know there's a table for Justin and Katie at La Lune whenever they want to go. Marco, congratulations. Nice to see you, and as I said, great respect for you and the restaurant as well. It's nice for Montreal to boot, so thank you and congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having us.
Take good care. All right, there you go. Marc-Olivier Frappier from La Lune, the restaurant that's mentioned, as well as others, by the way, to be fair, in that article in the New York Times.
Canadian women are looking for more. more out of themselves, their businesses, their elected leaders, and the world around them.
And that's why we're thrilled to introduce the Honest Talk podcast.
I'm Jennifer Stewart.
And I'm Catherine Clark. And in this podcast, we interview Canada's most inspiring women.
Entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, politicians, and newsmakers, all at different stages of their journey.
So if you're looking to connect, then we hope you'll join us.
Listen to the Honest Talk podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts.